We are those of Oorkas, and we greet you, my brothers, in the all-embracing love and indelible light of our one infinite Creator. We are very honored to make this contact as representatives of our planet of Oorkas, for it is some time now since we have spoken to those of your kind. We can only point out the nature of the message today will contextualize somewhat how this may be, why your life often appears disjointed in the conveyance of events one to another, and the wonderful effect this has on consciousness, the education it gives the seeker, who learns where to look for the road sign. It is typical in third density to keep your eyes planted. We correct this instrument. To keep your eyes fixed on your feet. This is natural, for you are learning to gain ground as an individuated spark and to have your own footing so that you may propel yourself forward. The moment of balance, however, will arise in that cycle. It will become very clear that the ground under one's feet shifts, and the despair that ensues when one doubts the fixed nature of one's own self is a testament to diligent inward inquiry. This inner inquiry is your only guide. The resources you discover in the process of this inquiry will need to stand you in good setting as you traverse different experiences. Therefore, we would point you there before we point you at our words. Please take heed of the resonance involved in this message, not simply in how it sounds, but the consequences and how they express different longings and aversions within. You must appraise all of this on your own terms, my brothers. This is work well done. It is work we remember well. And we have achieved a discipline where we may stand at the ready to assist you in your process, but we must insist on it being your process and not one which we may bandy about our opinions as if we were again going through the third density experience. You are learning something unique and irreplaceable in the entire constellation of processes, thoughts, ideations, and fundamental expressions of heart. Take this duty seriously enough that you do not simply throw your lot in with a disembodied voice. We are here to help you because you have the great task before you. This great task is a curious and in many ways undefinable dance through different fields created by the separation of creator from creator. It is in its own way beautiful, and it also speaks to the obverse side of that beauty, which must in some way be off-putting. It must, in being fully appreciated, this darker side to the creation, it must somewhat disturb you and knock you off your center. This is a feeling that all here have endured at some point, and it is not a sign of any weakness or mistake. The center of self is one that must continually be sought. It is not because the center moves, but because you move. You orbit this center, this gravitational well of love, and you try to refract what light you can as you rotate, you planets, you bodies floating in a perfect plenum of love. And this is a decent characterization of what it feels like to be in the rhythm of service, where one sees the succession of phenomenal events as building upon each other. The chorus swelling as one feels drawn towards a greater conception of life, of self, of seeing others who surround one as comrades in the pursuit of a deep truth. We always encourage the diligent seeker to enjoy those moments where it feels like life is firing on all cylinders, so to speak. When we speak of the challenges of spiritual evolution, In no guise whatsoever should it be understood that you are not entitled, absolutely entitled, to joy. It is only, my friends, to build your spiritual perception, your magical skills, so to speak, that tragedy and the less desired events present you with a puzzle. The puzzle is described this way. Where is the love here? What is it about our processes of life that cause us to seem to keep running into the wall? And this is such a good exercise for the third density mind-body-spirit complex, because one cannot deny the need for walls, and yet they cannot be passed through. You seek the rhythm of life and a outflowing of love that creates a convection current, so to speak. And as love passes out, love is received within. And time is a great friend here, as it teaches one to trust this rhythm, and that those unfortunate events are bounded. They are not designed to simply pull you down into the abyss. If you can see the overview of your life, you would acknowledge this and perhaps be comforted by it. But this overview is largely withheld, and for a very good purpose. It is because one must learn how to navigate the path by feel. When the eyes are open and the noonday sun shines down, it is child's play to walk it. But this is simply showing you a truth that you need not, we pause. I am Oorkas, and I am again with this instrument. How humorous, my friends, that the unfolding of which we speak can manifest so literally. It is exactly correct and proper that interruptions will occur, that you will fix your eyes upon a goal shining golden in the sunlight, and you will feel farther away from it as you move forward. You will lose sight, lose memory of what it might have been in the first place. This is a test. Your unfolding plan of life was carefully composed before this incarnation, and you have within you neatly folded up and placed with tenderness within you all of those aspirations worthy of a child of the Creator. And then, where does this child of divinity find itself? But in a Three Stooges plot. This is a situation one can have any number of emotional reactions to. Disappointment, resentment, a sense of feeling lost, a sense of doubting one's own divine providence. And yet, your Creator has a sense of humor. It radiates this throughout its creation. Humor is in part an appreciation for synchronicity when it is at a 90-degree angle to one's desired end. One sees the goodness of the pratfall, the joy released from the frustrated project. And this keeps one light on one's feet, so that when one runs headlong into the wall, one can briskly and with a chuckle to himself reorient and say to oneself, well, I do not know the direction to go, but that direction is not the right one. Your culture is insidious in a way, for it celebrates success as an individual achievement over the group, over the social context that creates the basis for individuals to achieve goals. It is often misattributed, this success. It feels as if one is either fully responsible or aware of any agency. We thank the members of this group for their lightness of feet and cheerfully dealing with the interruption. And we steady this instrument. We who are so close to your confused existence, who are only just beyond the threshold of fourth density, we can only express with a great deal of emphasis how necessary it is to remain calm, to feel how you feel, and to appreciate those feelings on their own terms, so that one never lies to the self, but one also never narrows the self down and thinks that only certain outcomes are to be accepted. The savvy seeker, he who has striven through trial and error many times, this seeker learns to accept failure as a learning tool. This seeker understands that the hypothesis not proven out by the experiment is just as valuable as the hypothesis proven out. When you cross the threshold into a more unobstructed view of the character of existence that the higher densities will afford you, you will be able to appreciate this in the same way that you appreciate those missteps you endured in childhood, and that it is in the sum that the value is seen, not in each integer in the equation. And this is good guidance for appraising the vector that life has moved you in. It is a blessing when one can relax and learn to take an L, as this instrument would say, knowing that future games will occur and there are opportunities expressed through disappointment, through failure, that are not easily seen when all feels sunny and warm and light. It is so hard to convey, and especially hard as the light dims, as you reach the end of this density, as chaos seems to sprout from every manhole across this globe. Such tragedy we feel along with you. And yet, Does it not call to your heart? And does it not ask for your best as a response to it? This instrument understands how deep this despair can go down, how low it can feel when one is disrespected or discarded, how incommensurable an expression of love can feel with the depth of suffering on this planet. And yet, as one learns to balance those tragedies, reflections within the self, one learns that service is a flow. And it is called out of oneself by outer events. It is a process of revealing opportunities. For you must understand, my brothers, you ignore so many opportunities on a moment-by-moment basis. And you offer these opportunities a kind of disdain, not purposely, but out of ignorance. And it will come to pass that you will see the full stretch. We correct this instrument. You will see the 360-degree nature of this avoidance and come into your own relation with it at some later time. The chain of events and feelings that one upon another lead to what we typically call a lesson, an insight newly discovered into the nature of your own beingness. This is highly valued by your Creator. Not simply the lesson, but the unique way that you, as an unique mind-body-spirit complex, approach it, take it within, and find a balance that no other person can ever achieve. Therefore, we would like to revisit a topic that featured in your opening conversation, that of what those of Ra described as the light touch. It is a way in which one learns how to gingerly deal with resistance, to maturely relate to disappointment, and to keep the mood fresh, to keep the eyes from pointing downward so that new opportunities that otherwise would be missed can be glimpsed and can do their work of inspiring the seeker and drawing out of him or her that irreplaceable spark. And then the current of love, the circuit of life may be completed. And the flow will attest to one's structure of selfhood more than any reflection, more than any explanation. For to feel truth, my friends, that is an order of magnitude more satisfying than to understand it or to conceive of it through the processes of mentation. We are understanding that this message will be difficult to keep fixed in one's mind, front and center, when life tosses you about. But we would not have you live according to a creed that we lay down and robotically carry out some program of responses. When we spoke of a great chain of events, the flow of service is the conduit that this chain forms around. The events seem to be the substance. The love is the true content. The service as an expression. It is difficult to stay in focus when the cacophony of voices seems to frustrate your ability to find the punchline and to keep the appreciation of failure light and unsullied by the self-pity or anger. But there's humor in anger as well. There is great humor in he who feels sorry for himself continually. And these are all items that one can learn how to relate to as if one is a judo wrestler, where the energy of conflict need not be opposed, but instead used to certify the extant flow of energy. One can work with it and dance around it. And as one learns to feel into this, the errant voices that one is distracted by fade away. They are not there to insult you. They are there because there are many things occurring in this creation. There are many forces at work. And your involvement in this illusion is for didactic purposes, not for mastery. Therefore, if you can simply bob and weave, so to speak, with life, and learn when to pull back and when to push a little harder. You will understand, my friends, that life gives you good nourishment, even when it is fibrous. It offers you much that can be worked with as you are. And what cannot be worked with may be set aside. This is a way of working with the limited viewpoint that the veil emplaces within the seeker, so that the veil is not resented for what it prevents one from seeing, but instead focuses one on the true lessons at hand. And then, when this veil is lifted, my friends, you will be ready not just to see the expansive nature of the Creator's love, but to be an agent of it and to have the strength and the tenacity to use this higher vibration, this more refined and denser light. And you will have the humility to use it well, to use it in a way where, with the clear view, your other selves will come into orchestration, and the harmony will be the true balm for so many of those grievous wounds that this planet has endured. This planet, my friends, it is your Malkuth. It is your ground, and it is your mother. It is where we all find ourselves engaged in our little dramas. And it contains the riddles and their answers. It is only a matter of time until they are revealed to you. For this experience does not last forever. And the light touch, the sense of humor, and the judicious use of force, understanding where the circuit can be completed and where it cannot, where one must look within for the completion and the closing of the circuit. That is a true skill that will serve you well in the mysterious and exciting experiences that lie before you. We give you our assurances that, however dark life appears at times, there is fruition. It is not fruition that the personality you have built will fully appreciate. But you are not your personality. And the more that you can see that others are not their personalities either, the more you can connect on a heart level and build this network of light that will redeem and rescue the human race and its mother. We are those of Oorkas. We are ever so grateful for this circle's steadiness during interruptions, and would ask at this time if there is a further clarification or explication we can offer that would build upon this message. I am Oorkas. I am Oorkas, and I am again with this instrument. We understand that this has been a taxing session, and it is to everyone's credit, sought or unsought, that you have maintained a frame of mind that rolls with the punches. Punches are something every mind, body, spirit complex deals with. For bodies have a substance and solidness to them, and they tend to butt up against other objects. But it is a matter of interpretation how one would relate to that collision. And we simply offer that these collisions, once they are not seen as the ends of the story, become opportunities for forgiveness, opportunities for seeing the full stretch of the soul within, and occasions for celebration. For as we said at the outset of this session, even in the deepest tragedy, there is the promise of a certain kind of joy, a certain kind of equanimity to life, as one recognizes the balancing of the scale. This is most easily apprehended, my friends, when one has a relationship with a more total conception of the self. And that relationship is built in this world through a continued reaching out to one's deeper resources, one's parts of self that are obscured from view. And it is the act of meditation that will reveal it, reveal the path within. Not overnight, but steadily over time, as the voices without calm down, as one learns to hold within the mind a single idea and recognizes that with a single contact point, the circuit is most easily completed. And the flow that feels like truth may flow forth and bless not only you, but all who are around you. Be open to their blessings as well, as you open, we hope, to ours. We look upon your planet and your people kindly and with great anticipation for those moments ahead of you where good, solid work will be done to position this planet for its next stage of evolution. We are those of Orcas, and we thank you for your steadiness and attention. We are very pleased to acquaint ourselves with this circle and offer our energies should you call on us during your moments of meditation. There is so much we wish to convey about how we relate to the grand drama you find yourselves involved in, but perhaps we have spoken quite enough at this point, and so we take our leave. We are those of Oorkas, and we leave you in the love and light of our one infinite Creator. Adonai Vasu Baragas.